Greetings of the day and welcome to Prof. Neil once again. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. Friday afternoon, and this time we discuss about the feline legacy of Virat Kohli's attacking captaincy. It's a pleasure to see Virat Kohli on the field. It's fun. The attacking mindset that he has, whether he is staring down the barrel of the gun or is comfortably placed in the saddle, he's attacking. And that's how a game should be played. And not be dour and not be defensive. He doesn't mind losing a game, but he'll still go for a win. He'll risk a loss to go for a win. And that was something fantastic about Virat Kohli's captaincy. But things are not always like this for the Indians. The Indians were a very defensive lot. But this mindset changed 30 years after India made its test debut in 1932 in England. It took an accident to do it. Can you believe it? An accident on the field. 1962, the Indian team was touring West Indies, and the Indian captain, Nadi Contractor, was felled by a bouncer bowled by Charlie Griffith. The selectors, in their collective wisdom, for a change, wisdom, appointed a 19-year-old, that one-eyed man, to be the captain of the Indian cricket team. He had to captain a team full of seniors. He did that with grace. As I always mention, grace is courage under pressure. He realized that the Indians always played for a draw, never went for a win when it was there, because of the mindset. So he started changing the attitude of the Indian cricket team. He gave them that belief that you could win, especially against the white teams, the Australians and the English. So that's where he came in, and that's where he led as a role model. The Nehruvian touch, he had very meager resources. He didn't have a pace attack. India did not have a pace attack. So what do? He optimizes the resources. He thought differently. He countered the English and the Australian and the New Zealand and all other teams batting with a spin to win strategy. He established the spin to win strategy with encouraging the four spinners, the great spinners, the quartet of spinners, Chandrasekhar, Bedi, Prasanna and Venkatraghavan. But they needed a fielding set at that time for them to operate well. And India's fielding was woefully inadequate. We were termed as those who escorted the ball to the boundary. And that was the truth. He invested in youth. He invested in the youth and he got in players who could field well. And thus was born the great close-in fielding unit, which backed the spinners to the hilt. The electric Farooq engineer as the wicketkeeper. First slip was the left-hand batsman Ajit Wadekar. At gully was Venkatraghavan with his big hands. At leg slip was Abid Ali, the medium pacer all-rounder. And at four shot leg, who else but Eknath Solkar, crouching at the batsman's feet, literally. If this was not enough, the captain, the best fielder in the world, quote unquote, John Arlott. And the spinners would just say, give us 250. Such was the confidence. He had changed the total confidence of the Indians that now they want to win. And when they first won, they won this Indian cricket team, which had never won a test match series abroad since 1932. In 1967, 5 years after his taking over the captaincy, they won a test match series in New Zealand. So once they smelled blood, the Indian players realized that they would win. And winning is a habit as much as losing is a habit. And that's when the Indian team's attitudes are changing. The fielding got better, and after watching Tiger, the first Indian to play lofted drives, they also started practicing. And very soon the Indians were a combative unit. The fielding improved because the captain himself led from the front. At the end of the match, before the match, the practice sessions, his only instruction was, I want to see your flannels dirty. No escorting the ball to the boundary. That was it. And he led from the front, not only in fielding, but in batting also. At Melbourne, against the Australian finest, one of the finest Australian pace attack at Melbourne, batting on one leg, which was one leg, the other leg injured with a hamstring injury. One-eyed, one-legged batsman led from the front, scoring 70 plus in both the innings. It doesn't matter whether India lost the match or won the match. But the way it was lost, he was hooking the fast bowlers. He was driving them past, lifting them past their heads. On the big Melbourne field, the ball was hitting the boundary. Imagine doing that with a hamstring injury and with one eye. So 1967 changed the scenario. The Indians started smelling blood now. And then came the change in selecting the team. No regional concentration. If the captain was from Bombay, the team would be 8 out of 12 players in the team would be Bombayites. If the captain was from Delhi, likewise. Tiger Pataudi was the first captain who said no. He bought in the concept of selecting the best 11, whatever region they came from. And the integration that he brought in, like Sardar Patel, or the team, is best reflected as quoted by Bishan Singh Bedi. He says, a young boy from Amritsar, what Tiger said in the dressing room was music to my ears. Listen, fellas, we are not playing for Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta, and Madras. We are playing for India. That's what is quoted by Kabir Khan, that is Shah Rukh Khan in Chak De India. That's an original quote from Tiger Pataudi. After 67, when that too beating New Zealand in their home, in their backyard, the Indians were on a high when in 1969, the Australians, the unofficial world champions, led by Bill Lawry, came to India. We almost pulled off a win at Chepauk, Madras, where Prasanna went, mesmerized the Australians with a 6 for 24, and Mohinder Rahman took, as a medium pacer, took the openers early, scalping them early. But they managed with Redpath winning the test match. They managed it, Redpath getting them out of the game, losing a game. His investment in youth came fructified when at Kanpur, a young Vishwanath, from whom he had great hopes and great expectations, was out for a duck in the first innings. But boosted by the captain's belief in him, Vishwanath went on to score 100 plus in the second innings. And from then on, he never looked back. So when Ajit Wadekar, after displacing Tiger as a captain, this again the selector's wisdom, led India to its first ever test series win in England and West Indies in 1971. He was very lucky to have inherited the legacy of Tiger Pataudi. He did not have to do much to invest in the team. It was already there for him. But again, 1974 saw Wadekar's team losing the series in England, a humiliating loss. So was the 75-76 series, home series against West Indies, out for revenge against us for beating them at home. The series famously billed as spin versus pace. The old Tiger was called in again. He's getting old, but you're still there to lead the team. 2 matches down in the series and 3 to go, with the third being played at Calcutta. And we were looking down the barrel of the gun and would have lost the series there and there itself. But Vishwanath again rose to the occasion, and with the help of the tail-enders, managed to get a great total, and we bowled the West Indies out. 2-all, the game shifted to Chepauk, Madras. 2-all at Madras. And the fifth to be played at the new wicket at new stadium at Wankhede Stadium in Bombay. Once again, Vishwanath, 97 not out. The finest 100 not scored. And as usual, the spinners told our batsman, give us 250. And the Indian batsman did that, and the West Indies were out. So 2-all, and we went to Bombay, where we are beaten. We are battered out of the game by Clive Lloyd. So it was defeat but not being disgraced as in 1974. Tiger was getting old, his eyesight was getting problems, so he retired from the game. And Saurav Ganguly is probably the only Indian cricket captain after Tiger to select a team purely on merit and not on regional consideration. So 30 years after we made a debut in 1932, it took a one-eyed tiger, remember? The tiger is a national animal, to change our mindset, to change our thinking, a dull defensive thinking, to go for an attack. And that's reflected in Kapil Dev winning the 83 World Cup, the belief, the self-belief, the confidence that's come down the line to now to Virat Kohli. So it goes all back to 1962, when a 21-year-old one-eyed man who with his dry wit answered to the media who said, Tiger, why did they make you captain of, despite with one eye loss? Why did they make you the captain of the Indian cricket team? With his dry wit he said, yes. He says, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed is the king. The finest tribute to Tiger, like the Amul ads that feature every week that reflect the mood of the nation or the mood of the world. The Air India advertising board at Bombay, Marine Drive. I still distinctly remember that Air India ad. It showed the Maharaja with one eye blindfolded, right eye blindfolded, and throwing a cricket ball in the air. And below was a copy. Try throwing the ball in the air 10 times and see how many times you can catch it. A tribute to Tiger Pataudi. Brilliant copy. It said it all. Thank you, Tiger Pataudi. And thank you, Virat Kohli. Thank you all. So embrace the twist to enjoy the turn.